So, what is science? As simple as that. In your view, what is science? Is it the never-ending construction of the glorious cathedral of knowledge? Or is it rather a bazaar, a place where you continuously negotiate the price of evidence? You estimate the value of a theory? Or is it maybe science is a well-organized army of scientists committed to fight day by day against superstition, ignorance, and prejudice? Maybe more like Freemasonry, a community with some arcane rules and rituals, a PhD thesis being 80,000 words application form you have to fill out in order to get in? Or is science the eternal quest to understand the mathematical matrix behind what we see, the numbers that will explain it all? Or again, is it smoky yet sophisticated, an exclusive club of bookies where people try to assess the probability that reality will turn out to be in a way or another? Or maybe it's plainly a cultivated storytelling activity in order to get to a shared narrative of what things are. What is your metaphor of science? And then, who is the researcher? Is it an archaeologist who has to dig out reality, get rid of the dust? Or is it more of a sculptor who has to carve out reality with his theoretical hammer and methodological chisel? Or is it a craftsman who shapes reality with its activity? I think these very fundamental questions we have to ask ourselves. What do we conceive to be the relationship between knowledge, language, and reality? Are these three separate? Or it's just three evanescent floods of the same cloud? Epistemology, philosophy of language, ontology, in other words, to know, to communicate, and to be are just different facets of the same human activity. So, if you accept that for a moment, you might get to think that reality is faith that smells like truth. And this scent of truth, this peculiar fragrance, is the result of your personal history, of your education, of your cultural background, and is therefore unique. So, necessarily, my sense of truth is not like yours. And this explains why what I find persuasive in a, say, scientific argument is not persuasive to you. Well, the fact that the woman talked to a man is purely incidental, of course. And this is particularly relevant for our transdisciplinary field of ICTD, where we come from very different epistemological backgrounds. I mean, look at the position paper we wrote. I mean, we have more position on what a position paper should be than there are in that famous Indian book, what is called Kama something, right? So, this is relevant to us in academia, and this becomes even more relevant when we go into the field. I'm a practitioner. I know there I will work with people that do not share my broad academic meta mindset. So we do not share the same reality. So how do we deal with that? Well, Bateson once said there's a hardly escapable hierarchy in life, which is that context drives the relationship in it, and the relationship drives the content. That is to say that what we say and do depends on whom are we talking to, and whom are we talking to depends on what game we are in. So to make it clear, I draw an example from my personal experience of being in the International Cooperation Circus for quite a while, and I observed that the condescending attitude that many expats have with their supposedly equal counterpart is such that each and any activity they try to organize is used by this local counterpart to reaffirm their clarity. And until this cultural identity negotiation is not over, you can have the best technology in the world, it will just not work. So, how do we zoom out from content to relationship to context and turn all this psychological fuss into something useful and usable? Well, here's my suggestion. It's called NetMark. It's a very simple tool to implement. Basically, what you do, you ask your stakeholders to identify themselves using these little wooden figures. Want to try? And then you ask them to map down the relationship they have in terms of common flow of money, flow of information, flow of advice. And once they did that, well, you ask them to evaluate what the reciprocal influence is by using these discs that you put under each of the figures. And finally, you ask them to agree on an agenda that each actor has. But not just the official agenda. Facilitator has to try to dig out what is the hidden agenda, because according to Tversky and Kahneman's prospect theory, people are much more worried to lose what they have than eager to gain new advantages. So first, you have to reassure them they will not lose anything, and then they can project themselves for a better future. Now, how does it look like in real life? Well, this is an example from my personal fieldwork, working with some Burundian Chinese in computer, that's why I did ICT. And this is the discussion afterwards where the three subgroups had done their own math, and the communication and the interaction was really rich. Because in the process, of course, they synchronized their own view, so you understand what the differences are, and then you can start from a common platform. That's it. Thank you very much. If you want to know more about this, I'll be more than willing to set up some work maybe in the afternoon or even at the post. Thank you very much.